Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mint Conditions Live, the show that explores the world of sports cards, trading cards, NFTs, memorabilia, and much, much more. My name is Brad Parker. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're not woke or you didn't already know, we do have a dope show on theScore's Instagram page. Just go to the Instagram, theScore's page, and drop down to the IGTV tab, and you will certainly see all of the previous episodes of Mint Conditions. You'll love it. We've been doing really well with the views. People are loving it. They're commenting. They're DMing us left and right, asking about their cards and talking about their collection. We're trying to make people fall in love with the hobby again. That's what it's all about. I've fallen back in love with it. And, I took a little bit of a hiatus, as you guys know. But sports cards have been back for a year and a half now, 2 years now. It's pretty incredible. I'm happy to say that, I did bring my collection with me back to New York City to my apartment. They were rotting away in my parents' basement. Thank God I took really good care of them, but they are back and in my possession. Finally, it's about time I could enjoy them and, stay in on a Saturday night and just look at my sports cards. We're back, baby. theScore Instagram page, we just hit 2 million followers on IG. So shout out to us. We're certainly hyped about that. Thanks to all of our followers for tuning in, and we have a lot of awesome content coming your way as per usual. Road to 3 million. Hopefully we hit that soon. We're growing our we're growing our YouTube channel. We're growing our Twitch channel. Thank you, Twitch, and thank you, YouTube, for joining us, of course. Really appreciate that. And by the way, guys, I did just get a sick 1986 Fleer card in the mail 2 days ago. It's an iconic card. It's one of my favorite cards. I've always wanted it. It went down in value, so I saw it as a nice opportunity to buy it, and I did make the purchase. I'm not going to show you guys yet. Here's the back of it. That's a little sneak preview. I will show you guys in a little bit. And then a little bit of a hint. I talked about this card plenty in last week's episode of Mint Conditions. So we will certainly be showing you guys that card. I have a bunch of other cards with me as well. Listen, any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, please drop them in the chat, and we will certainly get to them as many as we can. If you hear any sirens, guys, I'm coming to you guys live from New York City. And that's just the way New York City is. There's going to be sirens left and right. I'm right by a hospital. There's actually a protest going on right now on my block. I don't know what that's all about, but if you guys hear that, don't worry about it. We're all good. We're all safe. I hope everyone's safe out there and everyone's doing well. So this is our 4th episode live, and I'm extremely happy. I have a platform to talk about sports cards. What's better than that? It's incredible. So we get to geek out once a week on Mint Conditions Live and talk about sports cards. So, guys, we have a very special guest, and, actually, special guest is probably an understatement. This guy is an absolute legend in the sports card hobby. He's got a poppin' YouTube channel, which is extremely informative. I watch his videos all the time, on literally a nightly basis. He developed his own free sports card app, which I also have, and we'll mention that a little later as well when I bring him on. He has an extremely helpful service for sports card investing and advice. It's called Market Movers. If you haven't heard of it or don't know what it is, we'll talk about that as well. Definitely get involved with that. And he has a new YouTube and podcast series out called The Owner's Suite, which I'm definitely excited to talk about that because he's interviewing a lot of big names in the hobby, which is pretty awesome. That's what I like to do. So I'm actually interviewing a big name in the hobby as well. So it's pretty wild on that front. And then, by the way, guys, this man that I'm going to be bringing on in a couple minutes is, I would say, 60 to 70% responsible for me getting back into the hobby. Like you guys know, like I've said on multiple episodes, I've been collecting cards. My father got me involved in sports cards from an early age in the early 90s. I was blessed with boxes of 1991 Fleer and Skybox and all these cards. The minute I came out the womb, the minute I was able to open up packs of cards and go crazy with that stuff. But then I went off to college in 2009, and then I wanted to make some friends and put the sports cards aside. And unfortunately, I missed some really big years. Thank God I got the 2009 era in, so I did get the Hardens and the Currys and a few Blake Griffins, whatever. But yeah, so we got the Durants in, but I did miss out on a bunch of guys, the Kyries of the world, the Anthony Davises, the Giannis Antetokounmpos, and up until April of last year, I got back into cards because I go home to my parents' house. There's nothing to do. And I had this massive collection of sports cards. I'm talking 15, 20,000 cards sitting there. Thank God they're all in top loaders and penny sleeves. I kept them in great condition because of my OCD from the jump. However, now the whole thing is getting cards graded. And, the second episode of Mint Conditions, I talk about grading so you could peep that. That's a very informative episode. But, yeah, we have a special guest, guys. His name is Geoff Wilson, but you guys may know him better as Sports Card Investor. We're going to be talking about the hobby, the 86 Fleer set, his upcoming ventures. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Very busy guy. We're so grateful to have him for 30, 40, 50 minutes. I know after he's live with us, he will be opening up a box of, I'm so jealous. I can't believe I'm saying this, a 1996 Topps Chrome box with John Starks on the cover. One of my favorite Knicks growing up. But regardless, I am absolutely beyond jealous. The Topps Chrome set features, if you guys remember a couple months back, the Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome Refractor in BGS Black Label form, sold for, I think, $1.8 million, close to $2 billion. So that card he might be able to pull later on his YouTube page. I certainly would be tuning into that. I want to see history made. I have a good feeling about that box. He's probably going to pull a couple Kobe's. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it. And then, you guys, if you have any questions or comments for me or Sports Card Investor, please feel free to drop them in the chat. What up, everyone? Party Lou said, Jeff. What up, Jeff? Party Lou, thanks for spelling Jeff with a G. Don't get it twisted, guys. It's Geoff, not Jeff. So all the newbies out there, come on. Drifter Thrifters, welcome back, bro. Nice to have you back in the chat. We had you guys around last week, so you asked some great questions, and we'll get to those too. So, guys, real quick, I'm going to recap last week's episode very quickly because I am aching to bring in my guest for this episode of Mint Conditions Live. So, last week, we took a deep dive into the most iconic set of all time. Not just basketball cards, but I would say sports cards of all time. Now, this is not an opinion, folks. It's a fact. Like, hands down, the 1986 Fleer set featuring 12 Hall of Fame rookie cards. I didn't stutter. 12 Hall of Fame rookie cards, which is something, a spectacle we'll probably never see ever again. Let's be honest. That's one reason why it's so epic. One of the cards, obviously, the MJ rookie card. I got to show you guys some of those cards. When I bring Jeff on, I'm certainly going to show you. I was able to acquire a Michael Jordan PSA 8 1986 Fleer rookie card back in April of last year for $2,800. Decent investment on my part. I listened to some of the personalities out there. I also followed my own heart because very key, like I said in a few episodes before this, do your own research. Don't always depend on all the personalities out there that know their stuff. Yes, it's great to gather information from these guys, especially guys like Sports Card Investor, but I think that he would be the first one to say, always do your own research. It's very key. It's very crucial. And you got to be responsible, especially when you're dropping hard-earned money, hard-earned dough on some high-end cards. You got to do your own research. So I can't preach that enough. But again, the Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie card sold for $738,000 a couple months ago, reaching an all-time high for that card. It's dropped out. It's come back down to earth a little bit since. But when I say come back down to earth, I'm talking it's still a $250,000, $300,000 card, which is absolutely insane. I would love to upgrade by 8 eventually. We'll see what happens. I have I have a lot of saving to do when it comes to that. But we'll see what happens with that. This card, it's actually wild. If you check the PSA Pop Report, it has been graded over 19,000 times. Guess how many have been PSA 10s? This is insane. 316 or maybe 317. But in that ballpark, 300 plus have been PSA 10s. That's why this card is so iconic. It's so rare. And that just adds to the uniqueness of the set. Guys like Charles Barkley, Elijah Wan, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Clyde Drexler, Chris Mullin, Dominique Wilkins, Joe Dumars, James Worthy. I mean, look, these names are just iconic. They're Hall of Famers. It's an insane set. And then the other legends, not to mention, obviously, Larry Legend, Kareem, Captain Skyhook himself, the Dr. Julius Irving, and Magic Johnson, probably the best point guard of all time. They're all included in that set. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, John Stockton was not included in that set because up until 88, he wasn't really that relevant. I hate to say it. If John Stockton, if you're listening out there, my apologies. No offense. But, I mean, maybe he'll be the first one to admit it. He wasn't the John Stockton that we know and remember and love. He was more of like a role player, point guard, like finding his way in the league, which you can't blame him. Not everyone's going to be a superstar off the bat. However, he was not featured in that set. Imagine if he was featured in that set, how much more iconic that set would be. His card came out. His mainstream rookie card is the 1988 Fleer, which I actually found in my dad's sock drawer. Not in a plastic, not in a penny sleeve, which we had some words about that. Come on, Dad. Come on. My dad was collecting Mantles and Jackie Robinsons and Hank Aaron's and putting them in the spokes of his tires back in the 60s and 70s. It just wasn't the same as today, and obviously conditioning wasn't a factor like it is today. But also another thing that makes this set so iconic is all the players that are unfortunately no longer with us. There's a lot of players that you may know and a lot of players you may not know or may never heard of, but a lot of them have passed away, unfortunately, and their cards have picked up quite the demand. Usually anytime an athlete of significance or even an athlete that we all remember and know the name, when they pass away, unfortunately, their card demand certainly goes up to a degree. It's not a blanket statement for everyone, but that is the case, however, for a lot of players. And a lot of players in the 86 Fleer set are no longer with us. So, but it is cool to think that their legend lives on in the form of such an iconic set of basketball cards. So that's really cool for that. And then there's some crazy stories throughout the set. Like there's a few misprints I know. There's a Johnny Moore card. Johnny Moore, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a basketball aficionado, a historian. I'm 30 years old, but I'll tell you right now, I don't know who Johnny Moore is. And I know my obscure, weird NBA players from the late 80s, early 90s. Johnny Moore was a player on the San Antonio Spurs. And I'm telling you right now, his PSA 10 86 Fleer card just sold for $37,000. That is absolutely insane. That's like you could get a new car or you could get a Johnny Moore rookie card. 1986 Fleer PSA 10. I wonder. I'll go with the Johnny Moore. It's pretty sick. Not going to lie. I forget exactly why it's so rare. I think it's like card number 78 or 77 in the set. And the way that the sheets were cut back in the day, it was the last card in its row, and then it was cut in a weird way, and the centering's a little off. So finding that card in perfect 10 form is pretty rare. So, again, go figure. The 86 Fleer set births guys like Johnny Moore. So shout out Johnny Moore. You will always be remembered and live in infamy forever when it comes to the 86 Fleer set. And then, there's a lot of other, big names that get a lot of love, but also a lot of the small name guys in the set got a lot of love. But listen, I could go on and on and on talking about the 86 Fleer set, but I'm going to let someone else come on who's going to know a little bit more than me because he just purchased one of the craziest acquisitions I've ever seen in my entire life, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, I could go on and on about the 86 Fleer set, but I'd rather bring on a guest who really knows about it and really knows, everything that comes with the set as well. The purchase, should I tell you guys? Should I let him say it? Oof. The inspiration behind Mint Condition 7, which was last episode, literally all due to this man, Geoff Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Geoff Wilson put out a YouTube video taking a deep dive into the 86 Fleer set, and he was nice enough to share his latest purchase with us. It is insane. I'm going to tell you guys because I have zero self-control. I hate to admit it. 1986 Fleer full set, 132 cards. Now, what makes this card set so unique? A lot of people could, acquire the set over the years, but ready for this, guys? Sit down if you're not already and have a glass of water. This set not only features all 132 cards, not only is every single card graded, not only does the set include the checklist, but every single card in this set is certified, authentically signed by every single player in the set. This is an acquisition that is for the ages, unheard of. It's unbelievable. And this man, Geoff Wilson, a.k.a. Sports Card Investor, made it happen. And maybe we could get him to show some of the cards in the set. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, he invests in tech companies by day and sports cards by night. He's a sports card junkie and is making the hobby cool again, which I absolutely love. He's helped me, and I'm sure thousands of others, fall back in love with the hobby again. The man, the myth, Twitch, YouTube, please spam the chat for Geoff Wilson, a.k.a. Sports Card Investor. And here he is.
Brad, well, hey, I'm happy to be here, man. That was quite the intro. Thank you so much, and I'm glad we share a common love for 1986 Fleer.
We definitely do, and I really appreciate you giving us the time. We definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk sports cards. We certainly share a love for the 86 Fleer set. However, I can't even touch your collection, but I will show you one thing real quick before we even get started. Is that okay with you?
Let's do it.
So I am going to show you very quickly what just came in the mail the other day. You recognize that, don't you?
What am I seeing? You got to hold it up a little more there.
You see that?
Just a little top corner. So we got a PSA graded slab. Oh, we got the sticker. You got the Jordan sticker.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. The Jordan sticker. I see it right there.
So it's only right that I got it to go with my PSA 8 Jordan rookie card, of course, from the 86 Fleer set.
There you go.
And then,
There you go.
And then real quick, I got my Elijah, of course, and I got my Sir Charles Barkley.
Yes.
But listen,
very cool.
Besides that, I really don't have much when it comes to 86 Fleer sets. So I just wanted to congratulate you real quick on your outstanding, amazing purchase of that set. And I got to ask you, like, what was it like, purchasing that set and then finally, being able to touch it and it comes in the mail or wherever you picked it up, you have that set on you. How did that feel?
Yeah, man, I felt like a kid in a candy store. So the story behind it, it had been, so it was at PWCC. PWCC, obviously, they got a lot of big cards for sale in their marketplace. And it had gone up in their marketplace a few months prior, and I had immediately noticed it. And I was like, wow, that is like a dream set. At that moment that it first went up, I wanted to click buy it now or make an offer and make it happen. But the Jordan prices back then were quite a bit lower. And so the difference in price between that set and where I felt the market was, I'm like, maybe it's a little too high. Maybe it's a little too high. Well, it sat there. Right. It sat there for a couple of months. And then, of course, the Jordans went on their run in December, and then they went on their run more in January. And it was about a week or so prior to those record Jordan sales. Those record ones hadn't closed yet.
Yes.
It was right prior to it when, I think one had sold for like $349 on eBay or something like that. And at that point I was like, okay, this autograph set has now become, in my opinion, actually a good value since we've seen the rest of the 86 Fleer all escalate. And I had wanted to pull the trigger and I was like, all right, it's finally time. So I put it in offer. The guy countered and I accepted the counter. I was happy with it. And when it came in the mail, it was like, that was a celebratory day. Like, I was so excited to unbox it and to look at all these cards. And I happened to have a couple of friends over that night.
Did you?
And so it was perfect timing. I'm like, you will not believe what I got. And one of my friends is a big 80s and 90s basketball guy.
Yeah.
And he was geeking out with me.
I would be geeking out as well. I can't believe that you have that set. The fact of the matter, do you even know how it got started? Like, did somebody acquire all those autographs in person? How are you getting guys like, I get it, the Patrick Ewings of the world, the Dominiques, even the MJs, they sign, and they're notoriously known for signing cards. But Jack Sikma, Michael Thompson, like guys, the random guys, like how did those come about?
And you said right, Johnny Moore, right? The crazy, rare PSA 10 card of the guy who no one had ever actually really heard of back in the 80s.
Right.
He signed his, right? So it's a wonderful question. I really wish I had the answer. I don't have the answer. The guy I bought it off of was a dentist in South Dakota. He had it for several years.
Okay.
But he bought it complete from somebody else. The only thing that he did was he swapped out a couple of the cards, apparently, that, if he found an auto that was out there in a higher grade, I guess he swapped it for one of them or something like that to kind of build the quality of the autos up overall.
Awesome.
But the crux of the collecting had been done before he owned it. So I asked him for, who had this before, and he didn't have any information. I don't know if it was that he didn't know or that maybe he couldn't share. I don't know. Maybe it was, it's almost to the point where you think it would have to be like an NBA official, because not only is every single card signed, but then you've also got the checklist.
I know you're going to say
signed by David Stern, which is incredible.
The coolest,
right?
By the way, the coolest card in my opinion in the collection.
Right. I agree. That was the one that I was so geeked up about. Was that it's funny because you got obviously the Jordan signatures and all the others are incredible, but like the checklist being signed by David Stern, I'm like, that's the cherry on top of the collection.
And RIP to one of the greatest commissioners in NBA history, and arguably the greatest commissioner of all time in any sport, honestly.
I would say he was. I mean, just how the NBA grew and became such a global game under his tutelage. Absolutely.
Well, I had to start off bringing you on by talking about that because you were the inspiration behind our last episode of Mint Conditions. I saw your YouTube video on Sports Card Investor on YouTube, and I actually, fun fact, me and my roommates, we watch your videos. I'm going to keep it as professional as possible, but I need to fanboy for a hot minute. We watch your videos every single night, and we look forward to your videos coming out because obviously I'm working during the day. I got to let my bosses know that are tuning in. But at night when we eat dinner, we're watching Sports Card Investor, of course, always. And we have two TVs, and they're small, but they're next to each other. We have an NBA game going, and then we on mute, and then we have sports card investor videos. And it gets to the point where I find myself like looking back at your older videos where I first fell back in love with the hobby again, because I've been out of the game for a little bit, and I was always a collector my whole life, but you've actually brought to light the investing side of sports cards, and I have to thank you, because I think I can speak for a lot of people out there that, we look at your platform, we look at your videos and all your insight, and we're able to make informative investment decisions as well. Like I said, my roommate's a Market Movers member. I need to sign up immediately and do that. He's a little more advanced than me, but there are nights when I just find myself laying in bed watching the videos, and like my girlfriend will call me to chit chat, and I say, not now, I'm watching Geoff. So that's the only, we get into a little bit of a fight then. I don't give her enough attention because I'm watching some of your videos. So, quit putting out all these videos all the time.
Well, send her my apologies, but I'm honored. I appreciate it. That's honestly the greatest compliment you could give, is that, you got your excitement back for the hobby because you watched some of my stuff. That's like the coolest thing to hear.
Seriously.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
No, seriously, because I didn't really know when I went, like, I don't, you heard my opening. I went off to college in 2009. I stopped collecting cards. I had all my cards from 1995. I'm a big 95 to 09 guy. Like, Garnett's my favorite player. Iverson, T-Mac, Vince Carter, the Shaqs of the world, obviously. And then up until LeBron, Melo, D-Wade, of course. And then even the guys like Durant and Curry, of course, and Harden. But I stopped with Curry, and I was able to pull some insane card. When you could go to card shows back in 2009 and you could buy a box for $200, I was able to pull some cards that I found in my drawer. Here, I'll show you one, for example. I pulled this Curry auto. Could you see that?
I can't, because I'm not seeing your card cam, but flash it up on the screen after you show the audience.
Here, I'll show you.
There we go. Now I can see it.
Can you?
Yeah, there you go. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. Very cool. That's a great card.
And numbered out of 100 PSA. Now, I've been sitting in my drawer forever in a top loader. Sent it into PSA as a 10-day submission. Came back a 9. Go figure. I thought it was a 10. I was a little.
That never happens.
Never, right? And
that was the 2009.
That was a 2009 Panini Prestige.
Wow, so that's his rookie year.
Right.
So you got that's a real deal. Rookie auto number to 100 of Curry. That's a nice one. Wow.
Ready for this? It's at PSA right now. My dad I was fortunate enough, he treated me and my brother to a box of Panini Prestige that year. I pulled that card. My brother pulled the exact same card, numbered to 50. It's a bonus shots edition in another box. Go figure.
Wow, that's wild.
Unbelievable.
That's really wild.
And then, of course, I pulled this guy.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
cool.
And then one more I had to show you is my Topps Finest green Kevin Durant. I'm a big sucker for refractors. I'm not. I love the moves that that Panini's making in the hobby, and all the Prism is absolutely gorgeous. I happen to love Prism cards, but I'm a sucker for like the late 90s, early 2000s refractor cards where it actually says refractor on the card. I think it's so cool and so old school. So now this whole thing where everyone's saying like the silver and all this stuff, that's awesome. But like I miss where it says refractor in little font on the back of the card. You remember those days, obviously?
Yeah. Well, and the 96 Kobe card you were referencing earlier. Maybe we'll pull one of those tonight. But that was the, I guess it would have been the oldest school of the Topps Chrome refractors, because that was the first year of Topps Chrome.
Correct.
So that was the OG refractor.
The OG refractor.
96. Yeah.
So you're opening this box later. I know you're hyped for that. How many Kobe's do you think you're going to pull? I don't want to jinx anything.
So I have not looked at like how that set normally breaks down. Like some, certain boxes, the odds are you're going to pull a certain number of cards or whatever. But of course, there's not that many cards in that box. So we're definitely not guaranteed a Kobe. It's not like opening up a box of 86 Fleer where you're going to find a few Jordans in there just because of the amount of cards in the box. This isn't that way. I think there's 20 packs. I think there's maybe 4 cards per pack.
Right.
They're pretty small packs. And so we're talking, and I know the checklist is going to be more than 80 cards. So if we get one, I will be happy. If we get 2, I would be ecstatic. That would certainly be beyond the odds if we got 2.
I will certainly be tuning in 100%.
But you've also got, you got some other good ones in that set. You got Iverson, you got Stephon Marbury, you got Steve Nash, you got all of their rookie cards as well. Ray Allen. So you were talking about how 86 is such an iconic set, and which it is, with 12 Hall of Famers. But actually 96 You got several in there as well.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've also got the Jordan card, and you've got the Bulls 72 wins card,
Right.
which is a popular one. So you got some pretty cool cards in there.
So in my opinion, that's a great point that you raised. In my opinion, tell me if I'd be accurate to say this. Yes, it's an opinion, but someone, an aficionado like yourself could agree or maybe not. Would you say I would rank the 86 Fleer set as the number one set in basketball cards, sports card history? I know like the vintage cards. I don't really know them too well, but I was going to say for more modern stuff, I would say 86 Fleer. Then right under that is the 96 Topps Chrome, I would say. And then right underneath that is the 2003 Topps Chrome, in my opinion. Would you disagree maybe?
The 96 and 2003, I mean, they're pretty neck and neck. You've got, I mean, LeBron, who's the best of the bunch out of 96 and 2003, right? Of course. And then D Wade, who's, spectacular in his own right. You got Carmelo Anthony in there. You got Chris Bosh in there. So 2003 is pretty special, but 96 was the first year of Topps Chrome. So you've kind of got the double effect of having a great players plus it being the first Chrome set of all time. So yeah, I guess I'd probably go 96 above 2003, but yeah, 86 at the top.
So iconic. My roommate he accidentally, just for gigs, he went to, he bid on a first edition 03 Topps box, and he didn't think he'd win it, and he won it for $7,000, and it's coming to that apartment in a few days, and I'm going to convince him to open it. So if I could do my best sales pitch to convince him to open it, I would love to have you back on an episode and we could rip it together.
Hey, let's do it. That'd be a lot of fun. That would certainly be good TV.
Oh yeah, would you have fun? You'd have fun with that for sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We have to ask, and I have to ask you, obviously. I've been watching your videos for a year. I have to ask this. What are some of your coolest or most rare cards in your personal collection, in your PC? I know you're a big Lonzo Ball fan,
sure.
But Lonzo aside, I got to see some.
All right, we'll show you some. Well, I'm going to show you one right now. Okay. That is the cream of the cream. That I just like you got your Jordan sticker in the mail the other day. I just got this in the mail the other day. I've not shown it to anybody yet.
Wait. So, no, followers, you listening, guys? Twitch, YouTube. No one is. Jeff, am I right to say no one has ever seen this card yet?
No one's seen it. You're going to be the first. You're going to be the first that sees this card. I'm going to put it on my channel here at some point. But we're breaking news right here on your live stream.
I am so ready for this. I am so ready.
You got the card cam up there? Can you see that?
Yes, I see it.
All right, here we go. There we go. There's the icon itself. Let it focus, and you can see.
Wait, what? No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's
not. I had to do it. I had to finally do it.
Standing ovation for this one. Jeff, congratulations. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. That's actually, ladies and gentlemen, please look at that beauty. Look at that card. He's not only holding a 2x3 inch piece of cardboard, he is holding the most iconic sports card. That is a work of art. That is a Mona Lisa of sports cards. That is pure insanity, and I am absolutely so jealous. Jeff, how excited are you to own a Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie card?
Totally excited. And I looked at about 40 of them before I pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
This was the best of the 40. The centering, as you can see on the screen, is just absolutely dead on centered, which in a lot of these PSA 10s, the centering is not perfect. Right. Like the centering is like 60-40. It's noticeably off center. This one is like perfectly center, sharp corner, sharp edges. And it was just bold image. That's another thing. Some of them are a little faded. This one's particularly bold. So yeah, man, I was very excited. I had been looking at buying one back in January. I had a 9.5 and I was looking at upgrading to the PSA 10.
Got it.
And I was looking at buying one in January, and that one that sold on Probstein for $349.
Yeah.
I almost bought. I was looking at it. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to buy that. I'm watching the ones that are on Golden, and they're starting to get up towards that. And I'm like, all right, I think I might just pull the trigger. And then somebody else did. And then all of a sudden the Golden one sold a few days later for $738. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like just ridiculous. Like what just happened? And so then I'm like, all right, well, I'm not ready to drop $738 on this card. Right. So I've just got to step back and see what happens. And of course they've now come down some. And so I finally said, okay, they've come down enough now where they're back within the range of what I was generally willing to pay. So I got to go ahead and pull a trigger. And I pulled the trigger on this one because it was just so perfectly centered. It was just sharp.
I got to cut you off for 1 second. I was I was beyond jealous when I watched the video on your 86 Fleer autographed graded set. You're killing me right now. That's like the dream card. How beyond stoked are you to have that card?
Yeah, it feels like an accomplishment. It really does. It feels like just as you said, there's only 316 of them in the world, and this is, I mean, if you're going to get into sports card investing, it's kind of the pinnacle, right? It's kind of in my opinion. Now, some would argue, the 52 Mantle. There are other more valuable cards out there. We saw a couple of LeBron exquisite rookie cards sell, just this past weekend.
Right.
One sold for around 2 million. One sold for over 5
One
million.
was 5.2, right?
Yeah, 5.2. So, so yeah, there are more valuable cards, but truly this one to me is the pinnacle, because it's the one that, from my era, like I'm not collecting 50s baseball. That's not my era.
Same.
I don't remember it. I never watched it.
Right.
80s basketball, 90s basketball, 2000 basketball. Like that's, where I really started paying attention to the sport, watched it, all that kind of stuff. And so to have kind of the pinnacle card from that era in basketball, it's so iconic. And so in my opinion, I'm super happy with it.
Geoff, congratulations again. I'm never at a loss of words. I could talk all day. You don't know me that well yet, but I could just talk all day. And I know we don't have too much time, but I just can't harp on how jealous I am of that card. That's insane. For someone who's been collecting cards their entire life, as yourself, I'm sure that's a card that you've always envisioned having. With that being said, are there any cards out there that you wish you could own outside of the Honus Wagner T206, obviously, that you don't own but one day wish to own?
Yeah, actually, we're talking about Kobe. I bid a couple of times now on that Kobe refractor, not the black label one that sold for, close to 2 million, but the PSA 10, which had gone all the way up to around 500,000. It's now come back down. The last couple have sold for around 240 or 260. And so I've been wanting to grab one of those. I'll show you what I got.
Show me, please.
So I have that Kobe, that 96 Kobe.
Yeah.
I have the non-refractor version in pristine 10. So that's the standard Topps Chrome. This is one that hopefully we'll pull at least one of tonight, and that's in pristine 10.
So let's see the centering on that. Can you move it a tiny bit closer?
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
It's pretty spot on, dead center.
Yeah, it's really nice. In fact, the centering was a 10 grade on it. So the only one that was the 9.5 was let's see, what was it?
Was it the surface?
The corners got the 9.5 on it.
Why do they have to do that? I don't understand. Why can't they just give
I know.
Come on.
I know. Just give it 10s across the board.
Across the boards, baby. That card is insane.
Yeah, that's a cool one. This one's a really cool one. Check this one out.
Show me some. I love this. Oh, well, wait. Oh, my God. Is that a black label?
It is. One of only 11 in the world. One of only 11 in the world right there.
Geoff, chat, please look at this, chat. Please check this card out. Geoff, I have the PSA 10.
Yep.
And I have a PSA 9.
Yep.
I certainly don't have a BGS Black Label 10. That is incredible. When did you acquire that one?
A few months ago. That one was I got that one a few months back. I think maybe in December. I think I got that one.
Could we admit that's incredible? Could we admit I dreamed to own that card one day? Oh my God, you have the refractor. What grade is that? Is that a 10?
Yep. So that's the 10, the refractor. So.
Oh my God, you are bringing out the big guns. I'm putting my cards away because I'm so embarrassed right now. I can't even. Listen, I would love to look at your face for the remainder of the interview. However, I'd rather look at those, and I think that you wouldn't be offended by that. That is
no. And let me show you something else cool. This is wild. Ready? I think I'm the only one in the world with this. Ready?
Ugh.
All right. So 2003, LeBron James, Topps Chrome Refractor, PSA 10.
Right. You're not going to be able to tell. Oh my God, the
2004, LeBron James, Topps Chrome Refractor, PSA 10. 2005, LeBron James Refractor, PSA 10.
You don't have the 06.
2006, LeBron James Refractor, PSA 10.
You don't have 07.
2007, LeBron James Refractor, PSA 10.
I know you don't have 08 with Kobe.
2008, LeBron James Refractor, PSA 10.
Chalk toss and 09. Which one's 09 again? Is that
2009, LeBron James Refractor, PSA 10. It's
God.
the complete PSA 10 set of refractors. And I don't know that there is another one of those in the world, because some of these cards, like this 2007 card, is actually a Pop 10. So there's only 10 of this card in the world in a PSA 10 grade.
And what's it number to, that one?
It's numbered to 999, but for whatever reason, there's only 10 of them that got a 10 grade. So I don't know if they had printing issues that year or what the problem was.
Right.
BGS might, maybe a lot of people sent them to BGS that year. But there's only 10 of those in PSA 10. And some of these others are like super low.
Lowest pop-up, right?
Yeah. And so the chance that someone else would have all of them is pretty low. Maybe one or two people do, but
I would love to to get that can we confirm that you're the only one in the world that has that set? That would be incredible. I actually think that set might be tougher to assemble than, just based on the pop report, than the 86 Fleer autographed graded set. I don't know the numbers behind the pop for those.
It could be. That's a good question. The Topps Chrome set took me. I ended up buying I bought it all on eBay, but it took a lot of hunting on eBay over many months to, alert. I had eBay alert set up. So when any of those cards hit eBay, because they hit eBay very rarely, some of them you'll find on eBay, like one or two a year.
Right. I don't see them. They're very seldom.
Right.
The pop is so low. Exactly. So I have a question. Hopefully I'm able to make it out to the National in Chicago. Hopefully I'll be able to make it out to the Dallas Card Show. I'm assuming you'll be at both. I'm sure the team will be at both.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to both of those.
How much, and this isn't a bribe, how much do I need to pay you just to hold those LeBrons and take a picture with them?
I guess I got to decide what I'm going to bring. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous to be bringing the, cards like that to the card show, just because that gives me something now I got to really, keep attention to the whole time.
Of course.
But I do it to bring something with me for sure. Something that would garner some interest. So
I would say, listen, you don't have to listen to me, but my 2 cents is me personally would leave those home because I'd be too nervous to fly with them or anything even.
I think I'll probably leave them locked up because trying to carry them around the card show and I'm not sure, but
I don't blame you in the slightest.
But hey, if we make it down to Atlanta, we can arrange a showing. You can see them all.
Say no more. I would absolutely love that. And next time you come to New York, we certainly have to link up. And I would love. Listen, whatever you want to bring, I'll be grateful to see any of your cards from your collection. I got to ask you, what do you see as the future of Sports Card Investor and Market Movers, and also your new podcast, The Owner's Suite? You have so much going on right now. If people are out there that don't know, Geoff has a YouTube channel called Sports Card Investor. You guys should be following it and tuning into his videos. And he has top 5 lists where he dives deep into a theme throughout the week. It's super informative. Market Movers is an extremely useful tool that you've come up with over the years. And I need to get on that, but my roommate uses it, and he said he absolutely loves it. He uses that to make informed decisions in the hobby. What's the future for Sports Card Investor? We all want to know.
Well, yeah, thank you, first of all, for all of that. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So, there's 2 things that we do really, really well that we are going to continue to build on. So one is content, and I've got a great team that, supports me on that side. We've got some great full-time writers, social, marketing, obviously video production. So we have great talent. And so they help put together the shows. We recently, on our website, sportscardinvestor.com, we've recently started putting out several articles a week. The two writers who I hired are both really great writers, experienced in the hobby. They've been putting out some great articles.
Awesome.
And so we're continuing to ramp up content. I think in the future, you can expect to see more shows from us. You can expect us to be doing more on our Instagram. We're probably going to do some shows every week that are Instagram specific.
Awesome.
Which will be a lot of fun. So that's on our Sports Card Investor Instagram. So just more and more content covering the hobby. I think you'll also see us venture into some non-sports cards areas a little bit more as well. We might do that on a separate channel, just for the hardcore sports card people if they don't want to venture.
Of course.
They don't have to venture with us. There you go.
I got
very cool.
My Fantastic Four, my rookie Hulk card, and then my rookie Venom.
There you go.
I love that you just said that. A lot of people love the non-sports cards. Yep.
Absolutely. So we want to give them a little more attention, and so I think we'll do more with that as well over time. Awesome. And then the other thing we do well, in addition to content, is we do data well. So you mentioned Market Movers and our Sports Card Investor app. So we're continuing to build those out. One of the main things we're doing with the Market Movers is just getting more and more cards into the database. So right now we got about 30,000 cards that we track the price movements of on a daily basis.
Wow.
It's by far the largest database in the hobby. but I want to get it to 100,000 in the, upcoming few months. That's a goal. So we're working hard. It will take us a little while to get there.
Of course, that's a
but
great
we're
goal to
working
have, though.
hard.
100,000.
That's where I want to get 100,000 plus. I want it so that basically any significant card that you might invest in, you can go into Market Movers and and we're tracking it every single day, add it to your collection, see the updated pricing of your collection every single day based upon all the data that we're tracking. And that's a cool feature. We do that right now with the 30,000 cards we have in our data. So you can put your collection in, and then every single morning it will tell you what your collection's worth today and how that changed from yesterday and the day before,
right.
based on what all these cards sold for. So we're going to continue to build that out. Market Movers is also going to get its own mobile app next month, in addition to the Sports Card Investor mobile app, which is already out there. So, and then the other big thing is we're going to add in sealed wax. So right now, Market Movers is all about tracking cards.
Right.
But soon it will also be able to track all types of sealed wax. And oftentimes sealed wax can actually make an even better investment long-term. So whether you're buying boxes of 86 Fleer or 2019 Prism, and you're wanting to track, how those things are progressing over time, that will be the next big thing in Market Movers.
Of course. That's so awesome. There's so many cool things on the horizon for you guys, and we're all excited. And I think there's some big things to come. So I'm certainly in your corner rooting for everything, and I'm sure you're going to make everything happen. I got to get to some fan questions real quick. Drifter Thrifters did ask me, going back to the Jordan rookie, he said, as a lower-end collector, what's the lowest grade Jordan you would still see as worthy of buying, in your opinion? And that's a question for me as well, because I have the 8, but a lot of people that I know are trying to get a Jordan rookie as well. Lower-end collector, what's the lowest grade you probably go for Drifter?
Here's what I would probably do. I would probably not go below like the 8, because the pop counts start to get really big. There's a lot, as you said, there's been a lot of Jordans graded. It's just the 10s that are extremely hard to get. But some of the lower grades are not as hard to get. Now, it's still an iconic card.
Right.
But, at some point as you go down the grade scale, it doesn't have the rarity anymore to really command the long-term value increase, in my opinion. So what I would consider doing instead is I'd go in the direction of like something like this. I'd look for something like that.
Ooh, second year
In PSA 10.
Okay.
Or if you want to get something a little more affordable, I'd look for that one. That's his third year.
That's third year Fleer.
Third year, so I do that type of thing. I think I would try to stick with the higher grades, 10s if you can, 9s or 8s if you can't. But I would try to stick with the higher grades, but maybe go with a second year card or something else or a third year card.
Okay. Drifter Thrifters responded to that by saying PSA 8 isn't low end, my man. I mean, listen, that's the beauty of the grading card industry is like there is a grade for everyone. There's a price for everyone. So, I mean, would you recommend a 7 or a 6 for someone who can't afford an 8?
Yeah, or again, it depends what you're buying it for. If you're buying it to just have an iconic card in your collection, if you want a card that is just, again, the pinnacle of the sports card hobby, and you would be really proud to own an 86 Jordan, then yeah, get an 86 Jordan in whatever grade you can possibly get it in. It's a great card, no matter what grade you can get it in for collecting.
Right.
If you're thinking more, like how on a smaller budget can I get into Jordan from an investment standpoint, I might think about getting a higher grade in 87 or 88, because those sets were actually, there was a lot less of 87 and 88 Fleer printed overall than there was 86 Fleer. What happened was 86 Fleer was actually fairly widely printed. And then all of these card stores, the story goes, they couldn't sell out of it. So a lot of the boxes were returned to Fleer as unsold. And so Fleer trashed a lot of boxes.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Crazy. But then in 87, they really cut their production runs way down. Right. And the number because they didn't want to overprint. So the cards that they printed in 87, much, much smaller supply. So actually the 87 cards are much more rare, as are the 88 cards. So I from an investment standpoint, I think I might think about one of those.
I mean, I think that's great advice. I need to get on the 87 and 88 Fleers as well. I didn't know that they were not as produced as the 86, so that's a really good tidbit of information. Drifter Thrifter said, I can't afford, but I have a wife who would rip me a new one if I spent that, LOL. Nearly lost her faith when I dropped 500 on 10 autos. That's very funny. I love that.
Well, my wife was like that originally as well. So don't worry. Just show some profits. My wife got more comfortable as we went because we were able to show some profits, and she's like, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so for comparison, the 87 Fleer Michael Jordan,
Okay.
this card is a pop 201.
Wow.
In PSA 10. So whereas the 86 is a pop 316. This is 201. So this is more rare in PSA 10, the 87 is, than the 86 is. Yet it sells, this one's selling right now for around 30,000.
Oh wow.
Obviously the other one's 400,000 to 500,000.
Right.
So, and you could get this in a PSA 8 probably for, in fact, I'll tell you what I'm using market movers just to see what this is like right now in different grades.
See, ladies and gentlemen, use market movers. You could see the different grades and what they're selling for. I'm going to say 12K, or is it way more than that?
Now, there are a lot of 8s. There's 5,800 8s.
Okay.
So the pop count does go up a lot when you get below the 10.
Okay.
So the 8s are selling for about $750.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah.
Wait, that's very affordable.
And then the 9s are selling for, the 9s are a pop count 2161. So that's still a very low pop count when you consider that the 10s, they're only 200.
Right.
So the 10s and 9s combined, there's only about 2,400. So that's still a low pop count.
Is an extremely low pop report.
The 9s right now are selling for $3,200.
Oh wow.
So if you can afford if you can afford around $3,000 to $4,000 to put into a Jordan, I would actually buy his 87 PSA 9 rather than his 86 in a low grade. Just because I think just from an investment standpoint, there's only, around 2,400 of those 87s and 9s and 10s combined.
Right. Okay, so Drifter Thrifters, you heard it here first. Listen to Geoff. He gives great advice. Listen, look at Market Movers and download the free app, the Sports Card Collector app. But also, you would give advice to do your own research as well, correct?
Oh, 100%. Yep. It's do your own research. So I'd say two things. I'd say, first of all, do your own research. Please don't, just take my advice on all this kind of stuff. Like, do your own research. And then second of all, invest in what you know and invest in what you love. So, I am not an advocate. Like, for example, my team at Sports Card Investor, I get a lot of big soccer guys in my Sports Card Investor team, and girls, I should say.
Right.
And they have been on soccer cards for a year, plus. And so back before soccer cards ever started to boom. And they've been telling me, buy this person. I'm not a big soccer fan.
Same.
I don't follow it very much. And so for me, like the idea of like chasing, all of these, different European soccer stars from the Bundesliga, I'm not going to do it. Could it be a good investment? Sure. But do I actually want to get these slabs of these people? It's not what I know. It's not what I love. Now, what I did do is I did buy some soccer sealed wax. That was my compromise. I'm like, I'm not going to chase slabs of all these players who I don't watch.
Or don't know. And some of them you don't even know, right?
Right. But I do believe that soccer in general is a good investment. I do believe the cards will go up over time. So my answer to that was, I'm just going to buy some sealed wax and sit on the sealed wax because if the cards go up, then the sealed wax will go up. And sure enough, the sealed wax has gone up a lot. That's how I've chosen to approach it.
Well, clearly you have incredible self-control based off the fact that A, you're willing to sit on sealed wax, which I think is a good idea, and B, look at all that sealed wax behind you that you haven't even opened one night when you were bored just because. I don't know how you do it. I would be opening all that every night. If I was your son, and it's amazing that your son hasn't crept into that room and opened any of those. I give him a ton of credit. He's well disciplined. I would be ripping those immediately. It's amazing how you are able to have that self-control. But Brandon Ross actually has a really good question for you. He said, does Geoff think as we climb out of this pandemic and people start being able to do more things with their time and interest in the hobby, do you think interest in the hobby will wane? Or will the renewed opportunity for large-scale sports card shows and in-person transaction help the hobby continue its growth trend that began in 2020?
That's a great question. I don't know for sure. I think you could argue it either way. I think you could say, well, the pandemic really helped fuel this thing. And now people are going to start spending their money on vacations and other stuff, and they're not going to put as much money in the hobby anymore. Sure, you could argue it that way. The other way you could argue it, which is more so how I choose to believe, is that by everyone being able to get back to sporting events and being able to get to card shows, that is just going to continue to fuel the uprise. And I will say that the heat in the hobby started well before the pandemic. So for people who say like, oh, the pandemic is what fueled the growth of the hobby, it helped. But let's not forget that February and March, the hobby was at an all-time high last February and March. And if you look at the charts, they were going in market movers, all the cards last February and March were going straight up and to the right. Then the pandemic hit. Cards dropped about 40%.
Right.
Then they started to go back up again in April, May, June, July, etc. But that uptrend was happening before and was going to happen, pandemic or no pandemic. So, the heat was there. So in my opinion, I think it is going to help. I think it's going to push things higher. But I don't know for sure.
Right.
Other people have made the argument the other way. Only time's going to tell.
Those are the naysayers. I don't listen to them. I try to remain positive, even if I don't want to face the facts. But I agree. Nobody knows at the end of the day. We don't have a crystal ball. If we did, we'd be extremely well off in the space for sure. And we'd be listen, you know your stuff, obviously, but nobody knows the future, what the future holds at the end of the day. Natan has a great question. I know we have a time, just a couple more questions. I know you're busy. I know you have a box to break very soon, and I'm so hyped to watch that. Natan asked, is Lonzo Ball, he had to go there, a good investment going into the future? What do you think about that? I like to tell people, I don't like to give too much advice, but I'm big in like the GOATs and the guys that are, that they're like a sure thing. Like people are dropping all this money on Tyler Hero when we have like Ray Allen, who's, out there and is going to be a Hall of Famer soon. And like, why are we doing that? So like, that's a great question from Natan. What do you think about Lonzo Ball and necessarily like the young guys investing in them?
Yeah. Well, so the whole Lonzo Ball thing, which has kind of become, a running joke on my channel with my audience. So a couple of years ago, I did a whole analytical breakdown using advanced statistics from 538, Nate Silver's site, ESPN owned, and compared it to everybody's card prices of all modern players from like the last 8 years. And I did this whole analysis of like whose cards I thought were most undervalued in the hobby. And my analysis concluded that number one was Lonzo Ball. And so that's why I went on my channel and I'm like, hey, he's the number one investment right now. And this goes back early in my channel, like almost 2 years ago. And I was really excited about Lonzo Ball. Now that one I have somewhat whiffed on because he has not, he's had his moments. He's done generally okay. His cards have gone up, but they certainly haven't gone up to the same extent other guys are.
Right.
Thankfully, other guys who were in my top 5 right then were guys like Donovan Mitchell high. I had Jason Tatum high. So I had some other plays. I had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander back before he was really well known at all, and then his cards went up. So I had some other guys who did kind of break out, but Lonzo Ball, which was my number one guy, it didn't quite work out.
Right.
So I have been disappointed with the Pelicans' play and inconsistency this season. I thought, even going into this season, I was still hopeful that Lonzo was going to finally break through because I thought that the Pelicans were really going to, be a force in the West. I knew they weren't ready to actually contend for the title, but I thought, these guys could end up maybe top 6 in the West in the standings.
I thought that too. He's on my fantasy team. I agree with you. Yep.
The Lonzo to Zion connection, that's going to be really strong, and it's been an up and down season. We've seen flashes and moments and glimmers, but nothing consistent. And so I don't know. The one thing that Lonzo has going for him right now is that he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. It's rumored that there are some big teams that are interested in him. Right. It's rumored the Knicks are interested in him. It's already been known that the Bulls are interested in him. If he goes to a big market and pairs up with an up and coming team or a team that is ready to contend, he'll probably see a pop as a result of that. But then ultimately it will come down to how he actually performs and how that team performs as to whether that will be sustained or not.
That's very interesting. That's a really good fact. I think that his dad hyped him up a lot. He had some big shoes to fill, some big checks to sign. I just hope he's not known as LaMelo's brother. That's what I hope, because I actually think it's not too late, and Lonzo could definitely turn around. Like you said, if he goes to a contender or a team that puts him in a nice situation, he already improved his jump shot form. Him and Zion do have a great connection, but his floor game's incredible. His basketball IQ is through the roof, and I totally agree with you. I don't think it's the end of the story for him. But real quick, Toby Fallow said, Geoff, any pack opening superstitions? Do you have any? That's a great question.
Pack opening superstitions. No, I don't actually have any. Maybe I need to develop one. Maybe I need some pack opening habit. That's it. Do you have a pack opening suspicion?
See, you want to hear something crazy? I haven't really opened up. We opened one on Mint Conditions Live last week and the week before. We opened a box of 1920 Mosaic. Do you know how much I miss just opening up a box and ripping it? And we have some boxes coming in the mail that I'm going to be opening up on a live. I would love to have you on an upcoming episode again if you're welcome to, if you're willing to come back on. And I'd love to rip a box with you. I think that'd be awesome. Where maybe we send you half the packs, I have half the packs. We'll see who pulls what. But I miss that so much. I don't have any superstitions. I do make sure I wash my hands, and I do make sure that I turn my phone off for sure. No one is bothering me. And I like to be alone. I also like to have the TV on. I really don't like people watching, which is kind of crazy. I guess you could say I do have some superstitions. I have my top loaders and my penny sleeves right then and there within arm's reach. So if I pull anything, it's ready to go. And lately now, because phones are a thing, and I'm a content guy, I have my phone out on a little stand just in case I pull that Kobe.
There you go.
Topps Chrome Rookie Refractor. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
I have
Hopefully
to.
we get one tonight.
I really hope so. If we have time for one more question, is that cool?
I can do one more. Yep.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So, there's a lot of chatter around NFTs and Top Shot, especially. Obviously, a lot of people pit physical cards against digital cards. Do you think that they both can coexist? And what are your thoughts on Top Shot? I happen to hate it because I love the tangible physical aspect of holding a card. I've expressed that multiple times, but it's obviously a big thing, and I know a lot of people that have millions of dollars in their accounts. What are your thoughts on NFTs, Top Shot, and the future of the digital cards versus trading cards?
Yeah, so I mean, NFTs are definitely going to play a huge role in collecting the future, without a doubt. They're here to stay. I think that obviously right now there's a whole bunch of different NFT projects that are being spun up. It seems like every ex-athlete and or even current athlete and every team is starting to drop their own NFT projects. You're hearing them more and more every day. A lot of those are not going to be very successful. We're already starting to see signs of that. We're starting to see these NFT projects not actually garnering much interest, commanding much money. Right. And then the secondary market on them is kind of dead. So, I think a lot of the secondary projects, not so much. However, I do think Top Shot, because of the fact that it arrived to the scene early, because of the fact that it has a kind of a known, reputable company behind it, and because of the fact that they have raised a ton of investment capital from a ton of big name investors, I think Top Shot is absolutely going to stick around and be very relevant for quite a while. So I think that Top Shot is the
real deal.
I think it's the real deal. And I think you'll start seeing like an official one. I mean, Topps just came out with their baseball cards and NFTs.
I saw that. That's huge.
I think that's probably the real deal as well. I mean, Topps is the type of company to execute on that and make that work. How it affects card collecting in the long run, I don't know. That will be interesting to watch. I definitely think there will always be a market for cardboard. Like you, I much prefer cardboard. I do own some NFTs. I own some Top Shot, but there's no way that I could ever do anything in Top Shot that to me I'm going to care nearly as much about as the Jordan or as the
LeBron refractors.
Just nothing. Like these things are like, I care about this so much more.
I know.
And this to me, it's very tangible. It's something I can look at, something I can appreciate. I know, you can put NFTs on your TV and there'll be picture frames to display them and all.
Okay, great. That's what I hear.
And so great. Some people are into that. I respect that they are. I'm not as into it, but I do respect it from an investment standpoint. And I hope the two can be complementary. I hope that one doesn't really like eat into the other. I do think some of the flippers that were in the sports card market that were in the market simply for the quick buck, and they didn't really care about cards at all. I do think a lot of them hopped over to Top Shot a few months ago. And I think that that's why we've seen the sports card market.
I was just going to ask that.
Modern cards have been kind of flat, the last 5 or 6 months for the most part. They had a run up in December before the NBA season started. But specifically basketball is what I'm talking about. But since December, modern cards have been down. And now you're seeing iconic cards down as well from their highs in February. I think the modern card stuff, at least a little bit of that is attributable to Top Shot.
Do you think that as it ebbs and flows, obviously as time goes on, do you think as the playoffs come around in the next 3 weeks, things will ramp back up again? And then things like Space Jam's coming out, maybe LeBron cards will be back on the rise, like a bunch of external factors. You think that, that'll, because a lot of money went into Top Shot, I feel like, from the hobby, like you said. But do you think that as the playoffs roll around, things will pick back up and go back to how they were in January, February, December?
I generally think so, yes. And I think that
I love to hear that. See the smile?
I think so. Obviously, I can't predict it. I don't know for sure. But I think with the playoffs coming, I think you're going to see modern basketball cards pick back up again. They were last year in the bubble when the playoffs came around. It was huge. We saw a ton of cards explode, like Jamal Murray's cards and Donovan Mitchell's cards and Tyler Hero's cards. So I think you're going to start to see some of that again, which will be really good for the hobby. But even if you don't, I still think that, basketball cards, sports cards in general are still great for the long term. We're just going to have these ebbs and flows in the market. And, sometimes things will be hot and sometimes things won't be as hot, and buy during the dips.
Just like everything.
Yep.
Just like everything. Agreed. Jeff, we're going to wrap it up. I really, really appreciate your time. I can't stress it enough how you are always welcome on the show. And if you're willing to come back, we would love to have you. Love to rip some wax. Love to talk with you, even off the live stream. And, just pick your brain. And it's just awesome. It's cool that you are helping to make sports cards cool again. I feel like that they went away. There was a little bit of a hiatus, and you're really revolutionizing the hobby, I think. And it's people we need more Geoff Wilsons out there. It's just I don't think there's many that could replicate you.
Well, I really appreciate that. Let's do a pack battle. So when you get a box of some type that you want to rip, I'll come back on. I'll get the box as well, and then we'll battle it out to see who gets the better rip.
Say no more. I am so down for that. I would absolutely love that. I'll get with Doug. I'll get with some of the guys from the team, and we'll talk about something in the upcoming future. Listen, I want to wish you the best of luck in your box break in less than an hour, and I really am praying for you that you pull that Kobe.
I'm going to run over to the studio now, and for everyone watching, go check it out. It's on our Sports Card Investor YouTube. It is a live stream going live at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're giving 2 of the packs away. So people who are watching the live stream have a chance to win a pack of 1996 Topps Chrome, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm going to run. Great to see you, and go check out that live stream.
Jeff, of course, I really appreciate it. Best of luck. Stay safe, and we'll chat soon, okay?
Appreciate it. Talk soon.
You're the man.
Bye.
Thank you, brother. Well, there you have it, folks. Geoff Wilson, a.k.a. Sports Card Investor. Iconic legend throughout the hobby. And it was great that he gave us some time. Apologies if I didn't get some of your questions. I was so enthralled in interviewing this guy that, I did miss a couple of your questions. Drifter Thrifters, I apologize. I will make it up to you next week. No problem, I promise. Guys, look out for the 8th episode of Mint Conditions, which drops tomorrow on theScore's Instagram. We will be discussing 3 cards that are not so iconic players. They're actually produced during the junk wax era, but there's some insane, weird, crazy stories behind the images on the cards. So tune in, and we certainly will inform you on those. Thanks for tuning in to Mint Conditions Live. My name is Brad Parker. If you don't already, follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all the fun stuff. Stay safe, everyone, and see y'all next week.